I'm Angelo Comsi and welcome to In a Nutshell, where we talk about something juicier than food, and that is the lives of my foodie friends. This is the joint initiative of Asian Culinary Exchange and the Asia Society Philippines. Today, we talk to three people who switched careers and are now thriving in their respective businesses in the food and beverage industry. Our first guest is a club DJ turned pastry chef who, together with business partner Paolo Reyes, studied in Italy and started a gelato brand that puts a spotlight on Filipino flavors called the Manila Creamery. Say hello to Jason Go.
Hi, everyone.
Also joining us is a lovely restaurateur/pastry chef who traded retail work for kitchen labor. Together with partner Eric Idos, she manages Japanese-Mexican restaurant Chino, which has branches in Hong Kong and Manila. Please welcome Tracy Wei.
Hi.
Finally, we have a professional photographer turned chef who has become renowned for bringing his signature flair to Southeast Asian food in the metro. He recently started a to-go food business called Sandbar, where he dishes out home-style hits like the nasi lemak. Completing the panel is Nicco Santos.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for having me, Angelo. Hi, guys.
So let's talk about the now first. I want to let the people know what you guys are currently busy with. Maybe we can start with Jason. How's everything? How's your business?
So my business is Manila Creamery. So it's basically manufacturing of gelato. So it's a fusion of gelato and Filipino ingredients and stuff. It's a fusion, basically, of dessert. Right now, we shifted most of our business to e-commerce due to COVID. Most of our sales, 95% of our sales is probably all on e-commerce. While before, it was probably 5% on e-commerce before.
So have you become busier now than before?
Yes, we're actually a lot more busier now. There's a lot more micromanaging needed since everything is... It's like you're starting a new business again, except that you already have your product. And now it's a different channel as well, different communication. And to a point, even the products have shifted. People like certain things now more than before. The flavors are more feel-at-home flavors. Cereal, malted milk. A lot of these comfort flavors have less maybe adventurous picks and more familiar flavors. Things that can give you comfort at a time like this.
Interesting. How about you, Tracy? How's Chino?
Chino in Hong Kong is still operating. So I'm currently still in Manila. So I'm basically like micromanaging Hong Kong. And then Chino Manila, currently we are technically trying to open for dine-in, but it's been quite difficult to follow all the guidelines.
But have you been getting a lot of orders from people?
For Manila, we have been getting a lot of takeaway orders. A lot of takeaway orders. And then for dine-in, we're still trying to figure out the little details, but the weekend is really good, surprisingly. And then weekdays are quite mellow, I would say. But takeaway still wins. I think everyone still prefers to get their food curbside and eat it at the comfort of their home right now.
And then Nicco, you just started Sandbar weeks ago, no?
It's been doing okay. Just to build on what Jason said, I agree that people are geared towards shifting to familiarity, more familiar flavors, more comforting flavors. So that's why when we decided to pilot Sambar, we just thought of doing nasi lemak, pure and only nasi lemak. As we go along, then we will try to introduce maybe more fun takes on it. Like we just launched a burger, a nasi lemak burger, just to do something fun. Yeah, but it's been doing okay. It's not bad. It's just me and Queenie in our small kitchen, but it's been great. It's been great. Cannot complain.
What made you think of opening Sandbar? How did that come about?
Man, I just missed cooking, man. I haven't been really cooking since I had some clothes. It started when we did a lot of innovation recipes for the Standard Group when we were donating to the frontliners. So we really wanted also to send our family members, our friends, like, Tracy, we really want to send them food and just, get back into cooking again. And then we've gotten some orders from close friends and family. And then so Queenie and I decided, why don't we just make this permanent? And the good thing about this is I get to see my son every day and he helps me.
Yeah.
He's 5 years old and he cracks the eggs of your nasi lemaks. So But he's in full PPE, so he's safe.
The subject for this episode is about switching careers. So I know that Jason used to be a club DJ. I was really surprised when I found out about that because you don't look like a DJ to me. But how did
I was shocked too.
Me too.
Oh, Nicco, you're also a DJ, sort of.
So yeah, how did that happen, Jason? How did you end up being a DJ?
I think it was early in after high school. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on Tiesto. I saw a lot of the videos and I was like, it seems like an interesting job or whatever. And then I started studying it in a place called Spin City. So after that, I was geared for more or less the basics. And then a friend of mine gave me a gig for free. Of course, I did it for free. And then sort of the interest snowballed, changing music genre, learning more about music, from DJing till music production, at least just an amateur side of music production.
How long did you do that for?
I did around maybe 5 to 6 years, I think, of DJing every week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was a working student. Working.
Wow.
So Nicco, you're also a DJ, no?
No. I messed around, but I started out just like Jason. When I was in college, I promoted events. I had 2-3 DJs with me, but I was just the organizer, hustling on the side. That was my first gig. I did that every week. I first started in Azuro, and then I did a couple of gigs in Ponte, I think. But yeah, that used to be my thing. And then I got into business school. I really wanted to go into culinary school, but my focus didn't allow me at the time. They said you have to go to business school first, which made sense. But before, of course, I just wanted to cook. I got into kiosks after culinary school. I opened my first one in PBCom Tower. It was just me and my cook, Roy, who was still with me until last year. It's been, I can't even remember. I think more than 10 years ago, 15. But that's how I started, and then it led up to a restaurant, opening my first restaurant with my, it used to be girlfriend at the time, now my wife, Erica. And then we had it for 3 years. And then the building was demolished. And then I got into photography, and then I got into, a little directing, and then some traveling. After 2 years of doing that, I kind of missed the kitchen. Missed my cooks, missed my staff, missed my guests. And then first opportunity of a space, I took it, which was your local.
What kind of photography?
Oh,
food
so
photography?
No. As much as I love food, I can't take photos of food. It's not moving. They need to move. So I love. I started out actually with abstract photography. It's quite weird because I was quite an introvert. I was socially awkward until now, I think. And then I got into directing because my photography mentor made me assist him for a year. That's how I fell in love with taking photos, was just being able to direct people. I think just seeing a different side of them is interesting and inspiring. But mostly women, because I think that they're slightly more graceful for me. Unless, maybe Jason would want to try it out. Be a model. Try.
Okay, Tracy, now your turn.
So my first job was when I was 16. So I was still in high school, and I just wanted to make some extra cash. So I started doing retail because it was the most flexible with my school schedule. So I worked at Abercrombie & Fitch for like a year, and then I graduated from high school, and then I went to college, and then I worked at Nordstrom's because I really liked their employee discount. I wasn't really good at it. I was actually terrible at it because it's all commission based, and my commission was so low. So
what did you do? Sales?
What? Sales. Yeah, like selling clothes to people. I know it's surprising. If you actually know me, I'm not a clothing salesperson, and I wasn't very good at it, but I really liked the discount, which is why I stayed for so long. But then I realized that, okay, this is not what I want to do. So while I was studying in college, I decided to take a year off and try culinary school. Because back then, there was all these cooking shows, and being a chef was so glorified, and there's all these pastry shows, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do it. I can make a cake, And so I signed up for culinary school and studied to be a pastry chef. And then after that, I have just not stopped working in F&B since then.
Now, Jason, you forgot to mention how you got into food. So from DJing.
So like that, after college, I wanted to change my lifestyle already. So I was exploring different maybe types of businesses. But then me and my business partner, Paolo, landed into food. So we tried some things. He was trying cupcakes, I was trying ice cream. We even thought about doing savory things. But when we made a few batches of ice cream and we tried it, we saw that there might be some potential in what we're doing, and maybe a bit more talent. I guess more than my skills as a music producer. So quickly then, I guess a little bit of self-awareness. I was like, maybe I'm not really going to get to be an amazing music producer, if ever. So I thought maybe I should try something else. And I thought ice cream was something I found easy. Well, not really easy, but something I didn't put too much thought that I could just do naturally. So from there, I slowly again studied some small courses until I studied in Italy for a month. So that's where I learned how to make authentic gelato.
But were any of you guys scared of the transition?
We did it slowly. So I was still DJing. My business partner was still in insurance. So it took us maybe a year of still keeping our old jobs. And then it came to a point where I think we landed a hotel, maybe, for the wholesale. And that's where we decided, okay, I think we can solely focus, full-time on Manila Creamery. And from there, work kept snowballing till today.
Nicco, you've always been fascinated with food, right?
Oh yeah, ever since I was a kid, yes. Yep.
So it wasn't a hard transition?
No, it wasn't. I just wasn't sure if it was something that I can do as a business. I really wanted to cook for sure. I just wasn't sure if I'm going to be good at it as a business, which I'm still working at it. I'm still working on it. But I realized, I think now, ever since this crisis, that as long as I have a kitchen to cook in, then I'll be okay.
Tracy, before retail, were you ever into food?
Actually, not really. I was really into drinking a lot. So I always spent a lot of time drinking. And I was never even really into desserts. I actually didn't really like eating desserts. But I like how tedious baking is. I really like measurements. I really like how things are very accurate because I'm so OCD. And I figured I had nothing to lose. I was going to college majoring something that I knew I was never going to use anyways. And my school loans were piling up. And so once I graduated culinary school, I jumped into working in a kitchen to see how I liked it.
But during your transition, was there ever a point where you thought, okay, maybe this is not for me?
No, because I liked it way more than retail because I realized that I actually didn't really like interacting with people directly. Rather than being behind the scene is much easier. You can be a bit more outspoken about certain things, and I'm quite straightforward with a lot of things. And so I really like kind of being behind the scenes and creating these meals and people celebrating, special events because, you always need a birthday cake or you need a wedding cake, and it's always something super memorable by having something like that. And so ever since I went into my first job, I really, really liked baking and I stuck with it.
How about Nicco? Was there a point wherein you kind of regretted going into food?
Yes, absolutely. After my first restaurant closed, I told my my partner, or now my wife, back then that was the last time I was gonna be in a kitchen, in a professional kitchen. There's a lot of things I realized was tough. One was definitely dealing with customers, like I'm sure Tracy would know, especially for someone who was cooking, Singaporean food, and that was a time when chains started to come in as well. So it was tough. So I got lots of hate because who's this Pinoy guy cooking Singaporean food, right? Doesn't make any sense. So it was tough. But then I think what kept me going was really the restaurant itself and my staff. Having them as like also my second family was what made me want to open a restaurant again. And until now, it's still the same reasons. At the end, it's more than the business, really. It's really the family that you create inside those walls. That's something that you can have with you for the rest of your life. I'm still in touch with all of my staff, most of them at least.
When I joined the food industry back in 2008 as a food writer, what I instantly fell in love with was the camaraderie and the brotherhood among the industry players. And up to now, that's still apparent, and that's what's keeping me going. Even if, like, as a writer, you don't really earn a lot. But because of the brotherhood in the industry, parang this is worth it.
Yeah, I got that. I get
100%. Yeah, like meeting the people that you meet in F&B and the unity and like the discussions, I think is so valuable. And that's what makes F&B so special compared to all these other industries.
Jason, there's no turning back for you because you went to Italy and studied. So you kind of invested on it.
Yeah, that's kind of my personality. I just jump into things and hope for the best. So in doing that, I took a lot of risk. I banked on a lot of my intuition in running my business. So I trust myself a lot, and I trust my senses a lot as well. So I'm not as smart as other people, but I'm pretty self-aware. So that's why I can take some risks like these, like, I'm going to Italy. I didn't even have a culinary background. So like to add also, I've also had my own doubts because it's hard to learn everything from scratch, from business, culinary, baking. It's hard to learn from scratch. So I actually found my peace just a couple of years ago when I actually took pastry in actual school. So that really helped a lot because it helped me connect a lot of the ideas that I had. Because before I couldn't fix the idea because I lacked skill. So it got me frustrated. So now I can, it takes me less time to, connect ideas and make new things. So that gave me a lot of relief. And since then, I stopped doubting, at least in the food industry and on my own skill sets.
Now, Nicco, right now, are you juggling 2 jobs, photography and culinary?
No, photography is gone.
Totally.
Sad.
Totally.
No, I think maybe the only thing I shoot now, which is funny, is food. I don't see it now in my immediate future taking getting back into it. If ever, just as a hobby or maybe for the business. Sometimes I do find interesting people to collaborate with. Then maybe yes. I think now it's just I really just want to focus on family and food, especially now. It's what's happening. That is the focus.
Tracy, is there ever an itch for you to do retail again?
I don't think so. It would have to be a really, really good discount for me to go back to retail. But yeah, I think as the growth in retail isn't as great and as satisfying as it is in F&B. And I really, really like training my staff, and I really like that whole operational process of it. And I really like eating and drinking and discussing with F&B. I don't have any desire to go back to retail. Yeah, I don't think so.
Jason, how about your music? Do you miss it?
No. I mean, I still love music. I listen to a lot. But imagining myself go through the whole lifestyle and process, I'll take a pass. As well as going back into music production, it's too complicated to like start over again, and it takes 10 to 15 to 20 years to just be decent at it, unless you're extremely talented.
But did any of you guys see the similarities between what you were doing before to food?
For me, I think a lot of the DJing was creative and technical, and a lot of pastry or ice cream is creative and technical. So I think even though they're completely different things, I still get the same satisfaction, I guess, from doing technical things and doing creative things at the same time. So in that sense, I'm happy because it's still sort of connected to my old passion.
How about photography and food?
What connected both, I think, for me is definitely the way of being, or your mindset, or how present you are at the moment. Because in photography, I had to be really present with my subject, right? She has to play a certain character, had to be somebody. And in the restaurant, in the kitchen, that's what I need to be. So I need to be a certain way. My way of being in the kitchen is I have to be somebody. I have to be someone else. I have to be, I just have to be bigger for my team. And for me, it's just really like, it's being able to transform into someone else at any given time was something that I learned through photography, actually, just watching my subjects. And now back in when I had my restaurants, you can't just be, I can't be my normal self, for sure. I can't be this quiet, awkward, guy who sits in the couch. I can't be that. I have to show up all the time. And that's one thing that I've learned that you really have to keep doing if you want to stay in this, in this business for a long time.
I worked in retail. I think that actually helped, was dealing with like with what I'm doing now, because I transitioned to do front of the house and dealing with customer service, like customer complaints, and how, like, we had a conversation about how the customer is always right and where we draw the line. I think in terms of that, for my retail experience, I think that helped a lot. And for retail, you really have to upsell. Like, someone wears a dress and you're like, oh my God, you look fantastic. Like, that fits you so well. It's also the same with food when I teach my staff how to sell certain items that we need to upsell. I think that the aspect of the 2 years that I did retail really benefited me when I transitioned to work front of the house.
Now, we've heard it time and again that people who get into the food industry should really have the passion for it, or else they won't last long. What are the other qualities aside from passion do you think that people need to survive in this industry, for those who are thinking of transitioning also like you guys?
I would say determination.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be really determined and quite stubborn, I would say. I think being stubborn is a good thing to like really last it out in F&B, because it can get really tough.
Stubborn helpful?
Sorry?
How is it going to help the people to be stubborn?
I think not stubborn with like guests or whatever, but stubborn with yourself. Like, okay. I'm very, very stubborn. Like, if I do something wrong, I have to make up for it. Or, there's sometimes where, like what Nicco was saying, like sometimes a restaurant doesn't do well and you're just like, you just want to give up. But by being stubborn, you really fight it and you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to do it, right? And I'm going to do it properly. And I think being F&B, when you're an owner, that is an important trait, and being determined is an important trait. Like, just because something didn't work out doesn't mean you should give up. And I think the determination is really important. I mean, obviously some of we've had our up and down opening in Manila. It's definitely been quite a struggle and a huge learning lesson. And I'm still learning every day with these difficulties and these complaints. But I am determined to stay in Manila and stay open and do a good job. And because I'm so stubborn, I'm not going to leave this country by giving up. And I think, to me, those traits are really important.
For me, I guess this is connected also to determination, is of course your adaptability also. So you gotta always be open to change things and be open to quickly adapt to whatever problem arises. Of course, like right now, obviously, is the whole pandemic. A lot of business owners are tested. I'm pretty sure a lot lose a big chunk of the market, but I think a lot also get a tighter grip on the market. Well, of course, there's still some luck in it, but it also goes to show a lot of the adaptability of business owners or chefs in a time like this. Some are waiting it out, some are doing new things or creating new things.
Yeah, just to build on Tracy and Jason, I think it's a very selfless profession, I would say, because even now, restaurants that are struggling just open just for the staff to get to pay their staff. I mean, it's not anymore about trying to make profit. It's really out there opening restaurants to take care of their staff. I do not know any industry that has the same care and love with their team other than F&B. And we're still working towards the possibility of eventually getting the team back together, and that's working towards that future for us is keeping us going. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And then determination and what Jason said, we adapt because we want to take care of everybody. So at the end, it's really about people, I think.
Now, Tracy, when you joined the industry, because initially you thought it was glamorous, right? But
yes,
when you joined the industry, did that change?
Oh, 100%. It's not like all the shows were showing how these top chefs, you instantly graduate from culinary school and you're an executive chef. It's not. You start from the bottom. You wash dishes. I was separating egg whites and egg yolks every day. I wasn't allowed to touch anything, and you get yelled at a lot. You get yelled at every day. You sweat, you smell, you work long hours, your feet hurts, but in some weird way, if you enjoy it, then you like F&B. Like if at the end of the day you go home and your whole body's exhausted but you're excited to go work next day, then that's when I realized, okay, this is something that I really, really like. But it's 100% not glamorous. Even as a restaurant owner now, nothing about it is glamorous. I am exhausted and stressed and worried every day if I can pay my staff today, if I can continue to open, am I going to shut down next week? It's still not glamorous. Like no matter F&B, from what people see, they're like, oh my God, it's so cool you open, you have a restaurant here, you have a restaurant there, but it's not. It's so stressful. But of course, you have the perks. You meet amazing people. You meet a lot of guests who become your friends. You meet chefs who become your friends, your family, and it's worth it. But yeah, it's not. There's no celebrity chef. No one's rolling the red carpet for you. None of that. Yeah, but it's worth it.
Do you think that's enough?
Like what Nicco was saying, my staff really is what keeps me going. I can easily give up and go back to Hong Kong or go back to the States with my family, but I really, really thrive is because I want my team to thrive. And I think, especially right now in the Philippines with this pandemic, my team really, really needs me right now. Like they need the income. I can't just shut my door and just run away. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that.
Of course, I agree with everyone that we have to take care of our staff and everything. Also, a lot of what pushes us too is our purpose as a brand. Because of course, we're called Manila Creamery. We're Filipino craftsmanship, so we can't just give up too. We gotta show what we're made of as Filipinos and what we can make, and maybe eventually show it to the world. Of course, our team working together, being creative and doing our craft and somehow showing what it takes to be what it is to be Filipino. That's what also pushes us, because we try to find the vision and we try to get there, even though the road is long, especially now.
You know what? The industry is like a roller coaster ride, no? Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. it bursts your bubble, right? Or for example, if one day you're doing really good and then a customer reacts with a bad feedback, it kind of humbles you.
I think it always brings you back. Like, since it only happens once in a while, you start to go up and then maybe it grounds you. I don't know. But yeah, it can get emotional. But I guess you kind of grow along with it.
And really personal too.
Yeah. You get tougher in the long run too, So I think it's part of the charm. There's always something. It's not boring. There's always positive, negative, up and down,
Now, in terms of the local F&B industry, what can we improve on? What are your hopes for the local industry?
I think if anything, my only comment is with customers rather than the F&B industry is people who are eating out. I'd hope that they would be more understanding. That opening right now is already really difficult and things aren't the same as they used to be. Like, for instance, we opened for dine-in and our menu is definitely way more limited because we're trying to reduce wastage. And we still get a lot of complaints. They're like, well, you don't have this item, you don't have that item. Or they're just like, oh, like, is this sanitized or is this, and I understand that people are scared to eat out, but I also hope that they also give the F&B the benefit of the doubt that we are doing everything that we can and also just enjoy it. If you're gonna go out to eat, enjoy it instead of questioning it. So really my thing is with the local people that are eating out, also be considerate of what we're going through as well. It's not that easy with what we're dealing, be patient. Right? If we're sold out of something, like, I'm sorry, like, there's nothing I can do. Like, don't yell at me. That doesn't help. And that's the only thing I would have to say is with customers or clients.
Be more understanding and forgiving.
Yes.
Okay. To wrap up the conversation, is there any advice that you can give anyone who wants to go into the food industry?
Run away. Just kidding. In my opinion, just be prepared emotionally. And when you're doing your planning, also be prepared to think in the long run. Because like what happened right now, the pandemic hit randomly. So now all your foundations have been questioned. So now, I guess it's something to think about in the future when making decisions in your own new business in the food industry is, will this decision affect me in the long run, or is it just for now? Is this a temporary solution, or is this something that will help me in the long run? So when we started our business, we always thought about long runs. So all our decisions were about maintaining the business for 5 to 10 years, or maybe not just 5, but like 10 plus years. So when the pandemic hit, we still had some form of, even though still broken down, but we still had a bit of foundation, wherein we had some flexibility to expand or shift to the e-commerce without touching too much our foundation. So yeah, I think be prepared, but also be prepared emotionally for the whole roller coaster, like as we discussed.
I say that if you're interested in F&B, I say do it. You won't know unless you try, right? And I think once you try, you'll figure it out. Like when I stepped in the kitchen, it was hard, but I realized that I liked it, and I would have never known if I didn't make that first step. And of course, like what Jason was saying is you just have to be mentally prepared. And if you're not mentally prepared, don't worry, because the industry will make sure that you get on it mentally. But I'm all about living at the moment, and shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm all about doing it first, and then planning as I go and figuring it out as we go. So yeah, if you are interested and you like it, and start with baby steps. Go to culinary school or do an internship, and you'll know immediately if you like it or not.
I think number one is that we are definitely getting into something that will have you take care of human beings, your staff, right? So I think just because of that, I think people should prepare a little more, plan better. Make your 5-year plan, 10-year plan, etc., and try to follow it. And but also be willing to adapt to changes, especially right now. Second of all, I think you need to have partners who believe in the same vision as you. You need to look for people who are aligned with what you want to do. What you want for the industry, what you want for yourself. That's because they're the ones who are really going to support you as well. Your team, your partners, and the guests who will turn into your friends. Those are the people who will support you all the way, I feel.
Because whatever you did before prepared you for what you're doing now.
Doing something different kind of helped do the food industry, because you can see the difference. Compare how much you were more happy now than before and whatnot.
Yeah, I think being able to, all the lessons that I've learned personally, I think I really needed those. Switching careers as well, like just what Jason said. But what made me realize how happy I am, being in the restaurant. But no, definitely not. I do not regret being here.
Yeah, no regrets. I'm happy I did retail because it's super beneficial with what I'm doing right now. And I still, as hard as it is, I still love F&B, and it keeps me going every day.
Okay, thank you guys. I wish you all the luck in your business, especially right now. And stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye, Tracy. Bye, Jason.
Bye-bye.